Let's look at chapter 18 sentences. Exercitationes. Number 1. Multi morte etiam facili nimis terentur. Multi is your subject. Multi. Terentur is your verb. This is your new passive endings. Third person, plural. Present. Passive. Indicative. Many, this is your nominative, plural, masculine. Many are frightened. It comes from tereo terere. Many are frightened, and this makes sense because now we have morte is the ablative case. Ablative, singular, masculine, and facile goes with morte. Many are frightened. It is your ablative of means. There's no preposition with the ablative of means or instrument. Many are frightened, frightened too much. Nimis, this is your adverb, by easy death. Number 2. Beata memoria amicitiarum dulcium numquam delebitur. The beata memoria. The memoria is your subject. Beata modifies it. This is your nominative, singular, feminine. The memory. Delebitur is your verb, third person, singular, future, passive indicative. In the beautiful memory of friendships, amicitiarum, genitive, plural, feminine. Dulcium modifies it. Dulcium is your I stem adjective of dulcis, dulce. So the beautiful memory of sweet friendships will never be destroyed. Number 3. Illa femina caeca omnia genera artium quoque intellexit, et ab amicis jucundis semper laudabatur. So let's break this up with this big et here. Well, it's a little word, but it's a big et. It has big impact. It means these are two different sentences. Not always, but having read this through, I recognize that there are two verbs, intellexit and laudabatur. So the fact that they are, there's an et in between them, that means they're essentially two separate sentences, so we can treat them one at a time. So that, the femina is the nominative singular feminine, illa modifies it, caeca modifies it, and look at all these words. Illa, femina, caeca, omnia, genera. What goes together? What works? They all go together? They all end in a? They must go together. No, hopefully you'll recognize femina is nominative singular feminine of a first or second declension noun, in this case first declension of course. Genera is the accusative plural neuter of a third declension noun. Omnia will go with genera because it is plural. So the intellexit is third person singular, present perfect, active indicative. That blind woman also knew, quoque is your adverb, knew all kinds of skills. And laudabatur, third person singular, this is your imperfect. The BA gives it away. Passive indicative, and she was always praised by her pleasant friends. This is your ablative of personal agent. Ablative of personal agent uses the or ob. Expect it when you get to the passive voice. Something was done by someone, and here it is right here. Your ablative of personal agent with the preposition ob. Number 4. Pater senex vester, a quo saepe iubamor multa de caleribus periculus ingentis maris heri dicere coipit. Let me point out what jumps out at me is the caleribus periculus ingentis maris. Just like this other sentence here, they seem to all go together. They do not. And so let's be aware of that when we get to it. A quo, we have a relative clause right here in the middle of it. Let's set that off in a little bit stronger brackets. So, your old man, pater senex, your old father. There's only one verb in here. What did he do? He began to speak. This is your complementary infinitive. He began to speak what? Multa. Many things. This is your accusative plural neuter. Neuter used substantively. About. Many things about. And as often as the case, you can go in order. Many things about the swift dangers of the great sea. and this is the adverb that means yesterday. So the de claribus pericules, these are your ablative, with a preposition, ablative plural neuter, following the preposition de. In gentis maris is just your genitive singular neuter. And then, your old man, who began to speak many things about the swift dangers of the huge sea yesterday, your old father, your old man, by whom, I keep saying your old man, it means, but in English we have that phrase, don't we? My old man, meaning my old father. I don't think that phrase exists in English. In Latin, nevertheless, I'm continuing to perhaps use it when it doesn't fit here, but that's okay. By whom, euabamor, first person, plural, imperfect, passive, passive indicative. By whom, in this aquo, again, ablative personal agent, absolutely expected with an imperfect passive verb, by whom we were often helped. So, your old father, by whom we were often helped, began to speak many things yesterday about the swift dangers of the huge sea. Number 5. Mentes nostrae memoria potenti illorum duorum factorum quito moventer. So, mentes moventur. Mentes moventur. Our minds are changed. Third person plural passive. Third person plural pass. Let me get the tense in there first, just out of habit. Present tense, passive, voice, indicative, mood. So our minds were changed by means of. Notice that you have the ablative of personal agent when it's a person, ablative of means or instrument when it's not a person. It was changed by the memory, ablative, singular, feminine, ablative of means, in this case, means or instrument, by the powerful memory of those two deeds, illorum, duorum, factorum, and swiftly. Our minds were swiftly changed by the powerful memory of those two deeds. Number 6. Concilia hostium illo tertio bello longo et difficili delebantur. The concilia, the plans, delebantur, were changed. This is nominative, plural, neuter. This is your subject. The plans, delebantur, third person, plural, imperfect. That BA here in the middle, imperfect. Passive voice, your new passive voice indicative. The minds, the plans. Now let's go back to the same order. The plans of the enemy in that third war, the long and difficult one, were destroyed. I think I said changed. This is deleted. This is the word we get delete from. So it means destroyed. It was deleted. The plans of the enemy were deleted in that long and difficult third war. I think that's the Latin puts the long and difficult at the end. I mean, after the noun, we would put it at the beginning. In the long and difficult third war. So the plans of the enemy were destroyed in that long and difficult third war. Number 7. Itaque mater mortem quoti filii expectabat, qui non valebat, et quius aetas erat brevis. Right off the bat, here we go. Qui non valebat, et quius aetas erat brevis. There's two relative clauses in there. We'll deal with them separately. And so the mother was looking out for. The mother was awaiting. This is notice your imperfect tense. Third, singular, imperfect. Active. This is active in this case. Active, indicative. The mother was awaiting what? The death, accusative, singular, masculine, of her fourth son. I don't know what's going on here. Genitive, singular, masculine. And so the mother was awaiting the death, was looking out for, expecting the death of her fourth son, who, non valebat, who was not strong, and whose age, the nominative, singular, feminine, lifespan, in this case. This is your genitive, singular, masculine, and whose lifespan was brief. And so the mother was waiting the death of her fourth son, who was not strong, and whose lifespan was brief. Number 8. Bella difficilia sine concilio et clementia nunquam gerebamus. Here, the gerebamus indicates this. We have the subject here in the ending, so it's first person plural, imperfect, active, indicative. We were waging wars. This is your accusative, plural, masculine. We were waging what kind of wars? difficult wars. We are waging difficult wars without plan and without kindness. Never. Well, that's harsh. Oh, but I neglected the adverb, never. We never waged. I think the simple past is perhaps a little better here. We never waged difficult wars without a plan and without kindness. Number 9. Te cum noem ex aliis miseris id caesarem cras trahent. Te is not your subject, so there it is, you, with 9 of the other pitiful souls, cum noem ex, with 9, out of the other miserable soul, to Caesar, tomorrow, adverb, trahent. There's your verb. It takes all that time to get to the verb, and look how these others are grouped together. So let's translate the verb, because in English we translate the verb first. Traho, trahere, it is third person singular, third person plural, future, active, indicative. They will drag you with 9 of the other poor souls, miserable people, to Caesar tomorrow. I use the check marks to show we're just taking these words one by one as we get to it. So there you go. They will drag you with 9 of the other poor people to Caesar tomorrow. 10. Regem acrem, qui officia neglexerat ex urbe sua iecerunt. So here we are again, the relative clause. Let's block that out so we can separate it. The regem is accusative singular masculine. Acrem modifies the king. What kind of king? The bitter king, the harsh king, the acrem king. So, but this is not your subject. Your subject is contained in the verb iecerunt, third person plural, present perfect, active indicative. So they threw out the bitter king from his own ex urba sua, from his own city. The bitter king, qui is the antecedent is king, who had neglected his duties. Yes, we can say who had neglected duties, but I think in English we would be much more natural to throw in his duties, because that's what it means. The Romans are going to leave it out. So I think it's okay to give it a little wiggle room in this case. They threw out the bitter king. They threw the bitter king, the harsh king, out of his own city, the harsh king who had neglected his duties. They ejected the harsh king who had neglected his duties from his own city. That may be best. And number 11. Illa poeta in tertio libello saturarum scripsit Dei hominibus avaris, qui ad centum terras alias navigare cupiunt, quod pecuniam nimis desiderant. So we got a lot going on here, but let's break off this qui. That's one. Well, that's a relative clause. We'll deal with it on its own. Quod. You want it to be your qui quod, don't you? But in this case, the fact that there is no et. Notice how in this case, in this sentence over here, the one about the mother, number 4. Notice how, there's this et here, right in the middle, between the two. It's not broken up here. It's not exactly the same sentence, but the fact that an et is missing, I'm going to take this to mean because. This is the word means to because. And the only clue, you're thinking, well, how am I going to know that? The only clue is because it doesn't have an et. Let's deal with it. Because they desire, third person singular, plural, present active indicative. They desire too much. They desire money too much. So, ille poeta, nominative singular masculine, that poet, in the 3rd book, in tertio libello saturarum, of satires. Satires are attacks in this case, and that's what they mean. That poet wrote, scripsit, in his 3rd book of satires, about greedy men, de hominibus avaris, about greedy men who want, 3rd person plural, present active indicative, who desire to sail, complementary infinitive, to 100 other lands, ad centum terras alias, because they desire money too much. So let's take this all together. That poet, illa poeta, in the 3rd book of satires, wrote about greedy men who desire to sail to 100 other lands because they desire money too much. Number 12. Mercy will be given by them even to the citizens of other states. Mercy is your subject, will be given. This is your mercy. Let's go ahead. It's the nominative case. We know that. It's singular. And we can think in our head. Clementia is the word. Will be given. Third person singular. Future. And now we have our passive indicative. By them. This is your common. This is your anticipated construction with the passive voice. The ablative of agent. And in this case, it is ablative plural. Call it masculine. Even, this is an adverb, to the citizens, to the citizens, to the citizens, we expect the dative case. Dative, plural, masculine, because with verbs of giving, showing, or telling, we have the dative case of other cities. This is just your basic genitive, plural, feminine. An other modifies it. We don't need to say the word, use the word of, because that's included in the genitive case. Mercy. Clementia. Will be given. Do, dare. Da is your stem, your present stem. Then we add the future tense, be, and then your new ending tor. Clementia dabitur. Dabitur, by them. The ablative of personal agent does require the preposition eis or ab, because it begins with a consonant. Eis. Eis begins with a vowel, so ab needs to end with a consonant. By them, even etiam is fine, I suppose. To the citizens, quibus, of other cities, urbium, and for the word other, we're going to use aliorum. And I think the only change I might make is the dabitur will go to the end. Clementia, dabitur, put it at the end. And I would probably put a little more space here in the ab eis. That was just an error on my part. Ab eis. Clementia, ab eis, etiam quibus urbium aliorum dabitur. Number 13. Many are moved too often by money, but not by truth. Many are moved too often. What are we going to use for that? It doesn't matter. It's going to be some adverb phrase. Don't need to get hung up by that. By money, but not by truth. And so these are things, not personal agents. So this is going to be your ablative of means, ablative of means, and money is ablative singular feminine. Truth, also ablative singular feminine. Many, we can use your substantive use of the adjective, nominative plural masculine. Are moved, third person plural, present tense, present passive indicative. So many, multi. And you know what, let's jump in. Let's because I want to put the verb at the end, I'll translate that at the end. Too much, let's say nimis. Nimis, too much by money. Pecunia, said, non veritate, not by truth. Are moved. When, there's our stem, and then we're going to put the personal endings on it, the endings of the passive voice on there, uristur, merminientur, moventur. Many, nimis pecunias, sed non veritate, moventur. I like that construction, that's good. Number 14, the state will be destroyed by the powerful king, whom they are beginning to fear. Oh, let's got it all. Let's get your passive voice. This is get your relative clause that we're going to break off here. The state will be destroyed. There's your future tense. Third person singular, because state is nominative, singular feminine. Will be destroyed, third person singular. Future, passive, indicative, by the powerful king. And this is going to be your ablative of personal agent. So you will have a word for by. It's either going to be or ob, depending on whether we start it with an adjective. By the powerful, well, that's going to modify king. And king is ablative, singular, masculine. there's our main sentence. Let's get the relative clause. They are beginning. That's only, we don't need to include a word for are. This is all one word. Beginning to fear. This is my complementary infinitive. They are beginning. This is your third person, plural, present active. And whom is your accusative, singular masculine. The state, the civitas, will be destroyed, deleted. That's how I remember destroyed. We get delete from it. The state will be destroyed, will be deleted. Notice the parts of the speech, the stem, the tense indicator for the future, and your passive endings. The state will be destroyed a rege potenti. Remember, third declension adjectives always are I stem plus. Potenti, whom, and let's put the quem. They are beginning to fear, timeo, temere. Beginning. What is the Latin word for beginning? More specifically, what is the Latin word for beginning in chapter 18? I don't know. Oh, right, I remember now. Coiperunt, or coiperunt. Just came to me. Civitas delebitur a rege potenti quem temere coiperunt. Number 15. Those 10 women were not frightened by plans of that trivial sort. So women is your subject. Were not frightened by plans of that sort. Those modifies women. 10 modifies women. Women is nominative, plural, feminine. Were not frightened, third person, plural, imperfect, passive indicative. So we're going to use our new imperfect endings by plans. Since it is not person, we're going to not use the word for by. Plans, ablative of means. And so it's going to be ablative, plural, neuter in this case. Of that trivial sort is genitive. Singular neuter is the neuter word I'm going to use. That and trivial both modify neuter. There you go. Those 10 women, illi, decem, feminae, by plans, conciliis, of that sort, generis, of the sort, generis, Elias, of that, and we're going to say light is trivial, levis, of that sort, were not frightened. Tere, there's my stem. Ba is the tense indicator for the imperfect. Antor, terebantor, or non terebantor, I got to stick that not. We're not frightened. Those 10 women, illa decem feminae, by plans of that trivial sort, conciliis, generis, ilius, levis, were not frightened. Non terebantor. Sententiae antiquae. Posunt, quia posse videntur. Posunt is my verb. They are able. We don't know what able, but they are able. They can, because they videntur is your third person, plural, present, passive indicative. And the verb to be in the passive voice also means to see, excuse me. The verb to see in the passive voice means to seem or to appear. They are able because they seem to be able. That's all it is. They are able to, I don't know, it's a bumper, a chariot sticker. This is a chariot sticker from ancient Rome. Posunt quia posse videntur. They are able because they seem to be able. But let's just focus on the grammar and not the meaning at the moment. Number 2, etiam fortes viri subitis periculis saepe terrentur. Men is your subject, are frightened. This is off of the present stem. There's no future tense indicator, no imperfect tense indicator. This is your passive voice, are frightened. And with the passive voice, we expect either the ablative of personal agent
or the ablative of means. And here we have ablative here, by sudden dangers. This is your ablative of means. So, means written poorly, but that's fine. Even strong men are frightened, are often frightened, get that isipe in there, by sudden dangers. Number 3, tua consilia sunt clara nobis, teneris scientia horum cuium omnium. Your plans, tua is not your subject, consilia is the subject, tua modifies consilia, that your plans are clear to us. Because of the knowledge of all, or you are held, sorry, we get the verb in here, I was thinking ahead, teneo tenere, our is endings is one of your new endings, ris, tor, more, mini, entor. Your plans are clear to us. You are held by the knowledge. This is your ablative. Remember, with the passive voice, we expect the knowledge, ablative singular feminine, by the knowledge of all these citizens. Number 4, malum est consilium, quod mutare non potest. Bad is a plan which is not able to be changed.
Number 5. Fas est ab hoste docere. Fas, it is right. To be taught, this is your passive infinitive. To be taught by the enemy, ablative of personal agent. Number 6. Eo tempore cerant circensis ludi, quo genere levi spectaculi numquam teneor. Eo tempore, at that time, there were circus games. Nominative, this is your subject, nominative, plural masculine. By which kind of light spectacle, quo genere, well, these are not subjects, I shouldn't underline them, but quo genere levi are all the ablative, by the light that, by which light, a light kind of spectacle, genitive, singular, neuter. I am never held. I'm never not captured, but in the sense of, a TV show or movie holds your attention. I am never held by that. By which kind of light spectacle I am never held. Haec est nunc vita mea, admitto et saluto bonos viros, qui ad me veniunt, dende aut scribo aut lego, post haec omne tempus corpori datur. This is now, adverb, this is now my life, vita mea. I admit, I let in people, and I admit and I greet. In other words, he's rich enough that people come to him to ask for things. I admit and I salute good men, bonos viros, who, here's my relative clause, who come to me. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Then I write, aut scribo, either I write, aut scribo, aut lego. After these things, the entire time, tempus omne, is given, there's my verb, third person singular, present active indicative, is given to the body. I exercise. So I get up in the morning, I do some business, I read or I write, then I exercise. That's a fancy way of saying all that. This is dative, singular, neuter with the verb of giving, showing, or telling. Everything, then the entire time is given to the body. Number 8. Nihil igitur mors est, quoniam natura animi habetur mortalis. Therefore, death is nothing. Nothing, therefore, death is, since the nature of the soul is held as mortal. Again, this is some philosophical stuff that is, it goes in the second half of these sentences. I don't know the meaning, but I do know the grammar. This is your third person singular, present, passive, indicative, and that's what you need to know. Number 9. Amor miscere cum timore non potest. Love is able, or in this case, is not able to be mixed with fear. To be mixed with fear. Number 10. Numquam enim temeritas cum sapientia commiscitur. For never is temerity, timidness, mixed with wisdom. Again, let's focus on the grammar here. For never is temeritas, hesitancy, maybe, mixed with wisdom. Number 11. Dilegimus eum qui pecunia non movetur. We value, we esteem, the first person singular, plural, present active indicative. We esteem him who is not moved by money. We value him who is not moved by money. Number 12. Laudator ab his, culpator ab illis. He is praised, laudator, there's your ending. He is praised by these, he is blamed by those. There's your, just a cute little phrase. Your ablative of personal agents are in there. He is praised by these guys, he is blamed by those. Number 13, probitas, laudator et alget. Uprightness is praised and it alget. It thrives, it algets. And that's it for the sentences. Let me know if you have questions.